Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to another episode of the Live Your Dreams podcast. Everyone here is having a great time, and that is because we have on our very dear friend and incredible filmmaker, Deborah Twiss. I am telling you, you are one of our favorite filmmakers, one of our favorite people. And while we're smiling from start to finish, it's because you're here.
Oh, you guys are sweet. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Deb, you've been on the show before. You had 2 episodes, and you always have so much going on. I'm telling you, not many people in the industry work as hard as you do. That's right. No, it's the truth.
Thank you. Well, and especially considering how exhausted I am from shooting. Thank you. I appreciate that more than you could possibly know.
You know, so many people don't realize what it takes to be in this industry, especially in the independent route, right? I mean, people say they want to be filmmakers, they want to be creators, but it really takes a dedication of like a lifestyle to be in this industry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you have to like eat, breathe, and sleep it. And, you know, luckily, the people that I have closest to me, my children mostly, who are grown up now, but they were raised with me always doing my thing.
Yeah.
So they know. It's like, you know, even today, you know, I get back from the gym and, you know, I say to my daughter, okay, I got to go to Secaucus. And she's like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, interview for Taboo. She's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, so, you know, you good? Okay, yep. Okay, everybody's good. And, you know, everyone just kind of like knows how to line up.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I feel bad for people who don't have the you know, the people that are in their proper places.
Well, you know, and it's great you have this support team because I always say you can go out and see these 2 incredible children in Sebastian on Tubi because they are both great actors in that film. I enjoyed that film that you made. And,
Thank you.
Can you imagine, like, how long ago was that, right? Like, how does time fly? It's almost like
11 years.
Right? Yeah. That's all right. I gave it a premiere of that when that came out at SVA, and that was great. Yeah. So, I mean, again, we've known each other for quite some time, worked together, and you have an incredible new film coming out now. Taboo. It's exciting. Yeah. It's out there. It's risque. It's everything in it. It looks exciting. The trailer's great. The movie's great. I'd love to hear more about this film because, one, you're starring in the film, and you're also the filmmaker behind the film.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
And I just, we've found, because I work with Breaking Glass, they're my executive producers and my team, right? You know, they're my family. And I have kind of found this niche of making these films. Yeah. But being a female filmmaker, they're always character driven. So I always had this fantasy of making more European style films where people over 30 were involved in like crazy adventures and, you know, sexy situations and, you know, but having a lot of depth. And with Breaking Glass, like this is the wheelhouse that has really worked for me and my content is working for them. Good. So we are in great partnership. It's beautiful. I mean, this year I will have made 2 films. You know, I made Taboo, and I'm working on Crave right now. And Crave is actually the sexiest film I've ever made in my life. Yeah. But it's also the deepest. Ever since Sapiosexual, which is what you guys brought me in to talk about originally, about a year and a half ago. Everything in my world has gotten so much deeper. You know, I lost my husband, and then that led to this entire kind of cracking open of my entire being so that, you know, the things that I'd hesitated to talk about in film are now ready to be, you know, shared with the world.
Well, it's not like you haven't done work on yourself. I remember you going through the process of the healing process, utilizing that in film and sharing it with the world is fantastic.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think I ever, the past year and a half, I spend so much time meditating and doing workshops. I'm going to a really cool breathwork workshop in Manhattan, actually. Oh, nice. Next Thursday. That's 3 hours. Oh, wow. And it's to like break through like, you know, a lot of limiting beliefs and really find the way to like manifest your dreams. Yeah, sure. Because like we can always do more. Of course. You know, we can always go deeper. We can always find another layer to peel away. Oh yeah, and eliminate. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a constant.
That's right. Because I mean, when you breathe shallow, you're kind of closing down. You're allowing yourself to not forcing, but you're allowing yourself to open up by doing the breathing exercises.
Yeah. Well, and there. I mean, it's. I went to a really cool breath work and sound healing event a couple years ago before the pandemic, and that was a similar kind of thing where they had like the singing bowl stuff. in sense, and it was really powerful. I walked out of that, and it was life changing. And then 6 months later, the pandemic happened. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I hope I didn't bring that on. No.
Brought that out from that. So, talking about life changing, right? When you run a script like this, it takes a lot to pour that onto the page.
Yep.
Now, when you started writing and going down this journey, did you always intend on going to Breaking Glass, kind of having them executive produce for you? Did you think you were going to do it yourself? What was the kind of the process to start this journey for our listeners that are kind of out there, never have created something as a writer? Where did you start when you started going down this path, to opening up to getting it on the page?
From being a child?
No, I would say like
with Breaking Glass,
particularly like how do you do it? 'Cause you have a great working relationship with that.
Yeah, well, I made Sebastian.
Yes,
and then Sebastian, I had a producer's rep, and I was at the Cannes market with that, and I had this great producer's rep, 7 and 7. They're out in London. And Maura from 7 and 7, Maura Ford, introduced me to Rich Wolf, Breaking Glass. And then, he loved the film, and it just started from there. And then that went really well. And so that was out several years. And during the pandemic, our license was about to expire. And so Rich reached out to renew the license. But then we got to talking. More and more. And we became phone buddies. We would talk 3-4 times a week at night. And we'd be on the phone for 3 or 4 hours and laughing and just talking about stuff. And then it just sort of blossomed. And so, I mean, there was never, I never intended this. I was just like, But I think that's how it works. Like, it's all about relationships first. And the people that you connect with, and, just keeping your heart open to what the possibilities are. And, the people that do resonate with, like, your soul are the people that you keep near. And hopefully you end up doing something together. And, the ones that don't connect, they fade away. And so it was just kind of a meant to be kind of thing. I mean, I've become so much more woo-woo and granola than even like the last time I was here in the last year and a half. And I totally see the way, like, being in flow state and everything else like that really makes all the difference in the world. So, I even do this, I have all these little special things that I do throughout the day where, like, if I feel anxiety, and like I let the anxiety go, and I just let like the universe come in and speak to me and guide me about what I need to do that I'm not doing that's causing the anxiety or that kind of thing. So it's like this really fascinating flow, which you wouldn't think would make sense for the kind of thing that we do. Like working in independent film is like, it's like being at war and running a factory at the same time.
No. It's a great analogy. You're absolutely right.
It's like,
there's very zero flow that goes on.
Because it's just like, and all the rules of the universe are kind of like turned upside down. Because, one of the main rules in indie film is like, if it can go wrong, it will.
100%.
No matter, like, you have everything lined up and the lead actor gets sick for 2 weeks. I mean.
And people panic when this stuff happens. You need to be able, just to yourself. Now, you're a writer, you're a creator, you're a director, and you're an actress in something like that. So when something goes wrong, and you're saying about running a factory at the same time going to war, you have to wear 4 hats at once. It's incredible going through your process, because I'd love to kind of get in your brain. How do you jump from one hat to the other, right? As producing this behind the scene, getting everybody organized, then all of a sudden acting it at the same time, being the director and the writer. That's a fascinating process.
Well, I have a good team. Every team, I have a really good team. So, and actually this team that I have on Crave is probably the best I've ever had, even though a tiny crew. But Taboo was a bigger budget because we had Costas Manoa. And that went really well too. I had Yaron. I had him as my AD.
Great
guy. And the girl that plays my nemesis in the film, Patricia McKenzie, she actually stepped up, and she was kind of like the production manager.
Good.
Like everybody wears multiple hats on all my films, but so it's always a matter of having the right people around you. I think that's the first key, and keeping track of everything lightly. Like there's my director head, but then there's my producer head, but then there's my actress head. Like even, and so I'm, you know, if I'm editing even, like an actor recently expressed concern that I'm editing a film that we're doing. And I'm like, well, it's not Deb, the editor, you know, Deb, the actress, director who's editing. Like when I watch that, I'm like, oh, well, that character, like I don't look at it as me.
Yeah.
You know, I look at it as like that character and that actor. Like I don't see, like I can separate. I can step outside of my own. Yeah, completely. So I think that's the key. Like it's about like compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Things like, okay, I'm an actor here. I'm a director there. I'm the writer here. Just like when we get to set, you know, whatever I've written, I'm like, look, you know, here on set, I'm not the writer. I'm the filmmaker. I'm the director. And if like that line doesn't work in your mouth as an actor, say whatever the fuck you want. I don't.
Yeah.
Like you just need what is like the intention, and as long as you've got that intention, and I get that from like, it works for the script. I don't care. I don't care what you say. You could say nothing. If you've got a look that will embrace it better, that's even better.
I love that. It's you're so free of your ego as a creator because that's so fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, the camera's going to pick up on it. It's going to know the truth or not. So you might as well use your own words if the script is a word.
Yeah. And the great thing about that too is it frees up everybody else to bring their A game with creativity. It's like, you know, even on the most recent film and all my films, you know, even if it's like a PA or somebody who's like a grip, if they have a great idea for directing or a camera move or whatever, I encourage everyone. I'm like, you have a great idea, say it, speak up. I have like, you might have a brilliant concept that we haven't thought of. Let's, you know, everybody like bring all your toys to the table and let's play.
Now, what's amazing is if you come on a set and you're a PA, normally you're there and you're at the bottom of the totem pole. People that come to work for you are really getting a real learning experience. I mean, if they can do that, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, completely. And like, okay, so the girl that is like the main grip.
Yes.
She works with the guys like setting up the lighting and all that kind of stuff. But I met her on The Dummy Detective, and she was just, you know, like one of many grips.
Sure.
And you know, she was fresh out of film school, so they didn't let her touch a lot of things or anything. But I saw how passionate she was and how amazing she was, so I brought her into Taboo.
Oh, right.
And she did amazing, and like ended up doing a lot of ACing work and things like that. And so she's like the main grip on this, and the whole plan then is that okay, even though it's a very tiny crew of like 5 people,
sure, yeah,
it's crazy tiny, but also we've been shooting mostly in this one amazing apartment in Brooklyn. So
right, really, I mean, beautiful.
But like for this new film with the small location, we couldn't have a big crew. We'd never be able to. When we shot Taboo, we shot at this amazing inn in Maplewood.
Yes.
Les Saisons.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a fantastic, big, it's probably 4,000 or 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So I could have a crew of 10 or 12 people.
Sure.
But the great thing is, like, you know, once you start to see, like, okay, this person is really good, they're really dedicated, they work their way up. And then, you know, on the next film, especially if it's a bigger budget, I'd like that person to be like the head of their department.
Sure.
You know, and get them, like, help them rise really fast, give them the opportunities that, you know, are the reason we do independent film. Yeah. You know, we do this so that, and as crew people even, they do it because, you know, they want to have an opportunity to do something that they might not necessarily get to do if they're working on like a Hollywood feature or something like that.
No,
you know?
Like, their creation process.
Yeah.
Most crew members are never really going to rise to the ranks like that to become a department head that was the indies. We provide that. Again, why we stress to everybody listening out there, this is why we have to support independent cinema.
Yeah, sure.
Especially as creators. We've found other creators that we know that for some reason see each other in the independent world as competition. Wrong way to think about it. I mean, we all rise together. We have to be out there, support each other. Especially independent filmmakers, artists, we have to support each other. We have to get out there, buy each other film. Don't ask for free codes. Yeah. Spend the money. You know what I mean? Like, support these people, support your fellow artists. Because if we're not doing it for each other, we're never going to be able to support the people that are working for us. It's so important.
Yeah.
We're building a future for each other.
Absolutely. We are the future.
No. And we, you know, ham each other down. Like, you know, if we go to your premiere, I don't want a free ticket. You know what I mean? Like, I want to support you.
Yeah.
I want your project to move forward. I want to buy your film.
Exactly.
I want to get a free discount code because you know why? The more people buy it, the more it's going to rise in the algorithm.
Yes.
The more people are going to see this value to it, and more independent films are going to become successful. You buy, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio's film. You buy a De Niro film. You buy a Scorsese film. Why are you buying a Deborah Twiss film?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people know you personally.
Yeah.
They may say our films that we make and say, well, give us a free copy.
Yo, I would never, I would never ask somebody for
what
that.
What are you doing? Like,
yeah.
You don't understand that every copy, it's not even about the money. It's about that if you see one of those independent films at the top of a Tubi list or Amazon list, that is going to move the dial for that film.
Yeah.
It's going to make a huge difference. Every single purchase counts.
It's so true. Absolutely. It makes a massive difference. And it is all about algorithm.
Now, if you fail to realize, everything now is on machines. So if we don't hit that algorithm off the start, the film's going to fall down. Yep. As it goes to the bottom. I compare it to like being in school. If you're in high school and you start the first class off with an F, very hard to climb out of that hole you dig yourself into. No matter what, you end up like a C. You need to start well. So if the algorithm sees you at rank 2 million, it's not going to promote you. And you're done at that point. Very scary at this point. We need to really push each other.
Yeah, besides the fact that the general audience is demanding better films, not remakes of everything that was done in the 80s. Absolutely. So we're the opportunity that you have to see films that have good stories, great writing, and that's basically what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's so important that we continue to keep our minds expanding and keep finding ways to you know, push the boundaries in different aspects with the kind of movies that we're making and really embrace the opportunity that we have as independent filmmakers, because, you know, at least the films that I'm making, you know, they probably would not be allowed to be made in Hollywood.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I mean, the most recent thing, like with Nicole Kidman hooking up with a young guy.
Oh, yeah.
That like so a couple people reached out. They're like, oh, Deb, Nicole Kidman's like doing your thing. And I'm like, no, it's actually me and Breaking Glass's thing.
No. Breaking Glass knows the genres that work for them.
Yes,
they're great at that, and they have a lot of great films in that genre.
Yeah.
Now, you know, going back to that, right? As a creator, you're there, and you're an incredible actor. I've worked with you as the director behind the scenes. I've watched, supported your productions. You're great to work with. Now, as an actress, you're in some pretty, you know, erotic, heavy scenes with your performers, but at the same time, you're directing this. I'd love to kind of see your mindset as an actress. I know you say you shut the hat off on director Deb, the actress Deb, but when you're in that kind of throes of those scenes, how do you go from being actress Deb into those moments and then say, all right, let's step back here and let's talk about a wide angle, and you start talking that through? That must be such a unique scenario to be in.
Well, it's so funny because basically I believe what actors have told me that I'm in those scenes with is that I make them feel super comfortable. That's and right. It's probably because I do, like, I make them I make the people turn, like, the camera department turn the monitor so that I can see exactly what the cameras are seeing while I'm laying there or sitting there or whatever. And then I will get the other actor to look and say, look, see how good that looks if I put my hand like this towards your head rather than here. And then if you keep your arm here. So it becomes very technical. It's like a dance. It's like, you know, okay, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, of that, like that. You know what I mean? So it really is just like this choreographed kind of dance. And they get to be part of watching what the creation looks like. They see, like, how it's like, oh, and look, if you put your head back this way, the light catches you right there. And they're like, oh, yeah, that looks really good. So it takes away the
question they have in their mind: am I in frame?
Well, not even that, but like, you know, ooh, is this icky, or is this like
your actors are very vulnerable in those spots, and you're opening and making sure they can say that's beautiful, because you say, you know what, I'm giving you that safety net. You're seeing what's going on. You're not getting taken advantage of. It's very clean. It's not vulnerable. Look what's there. That's fantastic that you do that. That's huge, because I can see an actor that's never been in that kind of situation saying, well, do I move my hand this way? How do I? It's a different scenario.
And something even as simple as speed, like, so, you know, there's a lot of great shots that are required to, because every intimate scene that I ever shoot, I always want it to feel like it was a painting.
That's beautiful.
Like beautiful lighting, very slow movement. And it's not about the... It's about everything before and everything after, because we don't need to see that. We know. Like that stuff, like let that be to the imagination. But like the thing that's always exciting is like the beginning and the after.
Sure, yeah.
So let's capitalize on that and make it the most artistic, beautiful, European style of thing as possible. And it's actually quite easy if it's there's no words. We don't have dialogue other than like maybe if there's a funny moment that happens to happen, and you know we both start laughing as actors, and I usually will keep that in because that's also very honest, very real.
Well, that foreplay, that courting period is excitement in the actual relationship as well as for the audience.
Yes, exactly. And it can actually be a lot of fun because it is just about dance.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's dance, really.
Well, I love that you're bringing back this style of European freedom of this filmmaking style, right? I mean, your style is very raw, is very real. I love the way that the cameras are in there. Your style is this throwback to this time period where people were making movies to make a story told and to make art. Yeah. You feel that in your films. And I love that because that's what you're trying to create and you do it so well.
Thank you.
People, you're willing to take those people, you get like in there, like even the camera work, the style with everything going on. It's very European feeling. It's that raw, gritty. You feel like you're in the moment that's there, but it's still beautiful.
Nice.
You know, you're painting the right picture with everything. You're not saying, well, we need 45 shots to get this set up. You know, it's not manufactured.
Yeah.
It's organized. It's sold correctly. I love that style of storytelling.
Thank you. Thanks.
Really.
Thank you so much.
So you're starting a revolution with your...
I hope.
Back there, right? Because again, it's independent filmmakers. We need to shoot like this. We need to tell these kind of stories. Because if we're just trying to emulate Hollywood, now we're a Hollywood D. Right? You know what I mean? Like, well, what do we do? Like a low-budget, bad version of Transformers. Who's going to want to see that?
No. What we need to do is, you know, we know what our base is.
Exactly.
You know, the kind of people that like to watch independent films. They're usually intelligent.
Yeah.
They span, like, you know, my kids even when they were 14 would watch indie films that were about people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. So, you know, the indie film world, like the people that will watch these films range from 14 to 90.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They really do. But there has to be a level of intelligence, a level of actual believable relationship. You know, the story has to have like depth to it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked in order to make it an independent film that actually is different than Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we need to maintain as independent filmmakers, you know, to have those things that are not Hollywood.
Yeah, we'll take the risks and explore and find something new versus just recreating some of the old.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And we need to do the things that Hollywood doesn't have the courage to do. Talk about the things that Hollywood doesn't have the courage, because, you know, they've got like their bean counters that are like, oh, well, you can't talk about that, or you can't be that, and, you know, all of these things. It's really, a lot of the movies even that are out today were influenced. You could see they were influenced by the independent films of like, you know, that came before.
Yeah, 100%.
So whatever we're doing, we are setting like a certain precedent for what Hollywood might end up looking like a little bit, at least in the next 10 to 15 years. You never know.
You're 100% right about that, because I think Hollywood is going to go in that direction. I think streaming has displaced the industry.
Yeah.
It'll disrupted the industry, really, where they don't know really where they're even going. So the big box office days, you know, it's always going to be Top Gun 2, and those kind of movies are always going to exist. But I think that movie that was, you know, $30 million now doesn't have a home anymore. Those are unexistent movies now, right? So you really can't make that kind of film anymore. So you either want to be independent or you want to be making like Jurassic Park.
Right.
I
mean, how crazy is it though? I mean, how do you make back $30 million?
In now's environment, you can't. I mean, imagine movies like The Town with Ben Affleck, great films like that. Those like heist films, 10 million. That would not even be made today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you can make that back. It
but
doesn't make sense.
I mean, one of the things that I want to do, I want to make something like a Run Lola Run. That's what I would like to do. Like you can have an action film that doesn't cost 10, 20, 30 million dollars. You don't.
It's getting dumped away. The technology's there now. You don't need all this anymore. It's amazing what you can do. Especially now with the digital AI, everything coming together, you can change the world. I mean, look, you've seen it, Debbie. What I love talking this business with you is because you're one of the rare people in this business that you have touched Hollywood. You've been in Hollywood movies, and you're a great independent filmmaker. You've seen both worlds. You're not just like making things up. You've experienced both. And for people out there, you can see Deborah in some amazing films that are out there. You've been in Kick-Ass, you've been in big productions, you've been on major TV shows. I mean, you have touched both worlds. Yet you still have this affinity towards independent filmmaking, which is always fantastic about you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, there's nothing in the world like it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally like we get to play. We get to play and have fun.
Yeah.
And, we don't have a situation where, this guy is not allowed to change the light bulb because that's not his department.
Yeah.
It's so collaborative. And to me, when I get on set, it's playtime. It's like I made a rule when I was like 3 or 4 years old that I never wanted to grow up. I wanted to be able to play pretend for the rest of my life. And that's what I've been able to do. And I think that's what we need to do every time we get on set. And, if you're on a big production, you can't really do that because it's too fuddy-duddy stuffy and, they've, the leads, the people, the A-listers, they can do that, but, because they've got the person.
Oh, yeah, they do whatever they want.
They can do anything. But, that there's such a beauty in the collaboration and the playing. And also, there's just this beautiful energy and connection that happens then, too, on an indie set where, you hear the stories about, oh, that was a great set and that, this and that for, like, the bigger budget things. But it'll never be the way it is on our stuff.
Oh, yeah. You're going like the war together. You're like,
exactly. It's like, I've got your bullets, man.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're together, and it's because so many people we're literally carrying the other people on our backs.
Yeah.
People have to change departments and cross departments. It never happens on big set unions. Completely different, right?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful whole like experience just being on an independent film where you get to see that from start to finish. I've never seen a director, and again, not an arrogant thing, talking to a PA like they're friends, you know what I mean? And the PA's learning, and I love the independent cinema coming up the ranks because I got to learn from mentors. Yeah. Where in the bigger thing, you do have mentors, but it's more in your department. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like you're bringing a young rip, and you're giving them the opportunity to become a department head. Mm-hmm. They're learning from people above them. Really, on the Hollywood sets, you see your direct superiors, and you don't talk to anybody else. So that's it.
And it takes years.
Oh, yeah, years
to work your way up.
If you do.
Exactly.
Once you're pigeonholed kind of in that department, you're seen as that department, and you may never get out of it. I mean, you're that at that point.
Like you go look at any of the, if you go on IMDb and you see, okay, on this big Hollywood movie, who were the set dressers? And you look and see, and then you see, oh, well, what else did that person do? And you go to their IMDb, and like they have 1,000 credits, and they're always only a set dresser, even though their career has spanned 15 years.
Oh yeah.
In independent film, you'd maybe be a set dresser 3 films, and then next thing you're a production designer.
Exactly right.
Then you're a producer. You know what I mean? It's like, there's so much more opportunity to really dig in, and explore different departments and find the fun, find the joy, find your path. And, the beauty is too, we can do different roles in different and different projects.
No, you're absolutely right.
I was going to say too, is not only we need the departments, but we don't need as many people as they do. Use, which are sitting around doing nothing a lot of the times in the departments, which just cost more money. So if you're making films, independent films for less money, your return on investment is there.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and there's that thing too, the idle minds, idle hands, and the devil's playground.
Well, I get it. Everybody, I'm glad big sets exist and people can make a living, right? But if you walk outside a set, there's mostly people kind of hanging out, smoking cigarettes,
complaining,
right? So now on an independent film, you may only have a crew of 8, so people start complaining, the whole production's gonna fail. So it's a whole different environment, right? So like if there's 250 people, 300 people, one guy's complaining, it's really not going to sink the ship. Sure. But when you have 8, if one person is sitting out there doing nothing, you're going to feel that impact. It's like our whole environment is really dependent on the person next to you. That's down to the next point. We all took a very unique path, right? We love independent filmmaking. I even go as far as like calling yourself we're kind of like mavericks almost. You know what I mean? We don't like the system. We're willing to go against it. We want to make films like We do it our way. We see the independent revolution of what's going on. But in that sense, for our young, aspiring filmmakers, it's a risky path. No matter how much you love the passion, independent film is something that you're not going to strike it rich overnight. People think that they're getting into it. Where do you see, and look, this would be a very long-winded question, but the future of the business going with streaming, the independents? Are we holding on? Are we have this last thread? Is it a new revolution of we're going to be taking over the industry? I'd love to get your perspective because you're somebody that knows how to do a film from start to finish.
I think that we are at the beginning of the revolution. I really do. Because as the economies worldwide crumble, our kind of stuff speaks to people on several levels. First of all, for people that want to finance movies, if we could do a movie for under $100,000, that's like damn good, and even has names, and has a great story. That is very, a lot of people will see that. And that makes the people that want to finance things really happy because that could be a really good return on investment. But then also for audiences, as the world gets more and more crazy, they want deeper. People are craving deeper stories, deeper meaning, and people are living longer. So they don't want to only see 20-year-olds having an affair. They want to see people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. You know what I mean? They want that. Like, people want, and the only people that can provide these things are us. We are the ones that can create this new trend within the industry, because also we don't have all these crazy corporations and bean counters overseeing us saying like, well, I don't know if you should do that. Like, if this character says this line, there might be 5 people that rebel, and it's like, no. Like, we have complete freedom. And I think even in the energy of that freedom, that's the thing that people that watch feel it. And we may never even use that word once in any of our movies or scripts, but the energy is there, the feeling is there. And when people get that, they're like, so good. I just want more of that. And it really, that's what makes the difference. And that's what everyone is craving. Everyone on the planet is craving that and connection. And with what we do, we provide that. That's what we do. And so I think, look at, perfect example, Joker. I mean, how many million? That was what, 40 million, maybe 50 more? I don't know.
A lot. I think it was 100.
And it bombed. Like, how does something, and names, big names, all this stuff, how does something like that bomb? How?
Yeah, but it's funny, when Todd Phillips took the Joker with the approach of an independent film like the first one, it worked.
Yes.
Because he didn't care what people thought. He went for this kind of out there, really dark film for the first Joker, and it clicked. It became kind of corporate. It became kind of put into the system. Flatline.
And I guarantee you that wasn't because of him.
No, I guarantee no.
Yes, I know him. He's not that kind of guy. He started the New York Underground Film Festival. I mean, he's like, he's like true indie dude. And so it was whoever was putting the money up to do it that said, oh, you can't do that. Oh, it has to be this. Oh, you need, a happy part here. You need a sad part there. Like all this shit. And like once you go through and build a film based on what everybody else is saying, you're not the creator really, and it's not organic.
It's not organic.
And the audience feels that. And when the audience feels it's that thing, when they feel that this was not an organic thing that grew out of actual creativity, but it's more of like, ticking the boxes, then
that happens.
Then they just don't go for it. Like even, so Terrifier 3 is like number one.
18 million right now in a weekend.
Really? I mean, I saw it. Did you see it?
Brutal. No, I didn't see it yet.
It's beyond what Anyway,
Marcus about it, right?
Yeah, Marcus. And Marcus is great. I love Marcus. He's like, but there was, anyway, like beyond.
Beyond Marcus.
But no, and I love him. I do love Marcus, and I feel really good about the fact that like an independent film is number one. That says a lot.
Yes.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make. I mean, it's a little bit out there for me as far as like blood and guts. Like I would prefer like my exploitation to be with like love and sex rather than decapitation and, you know, evisceration, but, you know, teach her. But I'm really excited by the fact that this was an independent film.
Yes.
That says everything.
100%.
That says everything.
Yeah.
And that is critical.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like I bought the tickets to go see that. Of course I did, to support Marcus and his team.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I had to keep my sweater over my head often, but you know, I the whole time I'm just like, yeah, this is great. There are no names in that movie.
No, and what they've accomplished with that franchise.
It's great. I mean, that's like, and that's the example of, you know, what's happening.
Yeah.
People are sick of the same old shit made by like a bunch of finance guys that are just trying to like, you know, push through whatever agenda works for their numbers.
Our industry's been almost perverted by that. We're afraid to make films. We're afraid to get out there. And I mean, go back to like a John Cassavetes movie, right?
My favorite.
Right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. You know, he does Rosemary's Baby as an actor to get money.
Right.
Right? You know,
yeah.
When you see his film, when you take his film, gritty, raw, you get Peter Falk in there, you get his crew.
Like,
right? And it's like you see filmmaking happening, and he doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
About what anybody thinks out there. He's going to create his vision. He's doing the other stuff so he can support this vision, pouring his soul, pouring his finance into making this happen, the freedom of creating. And he motivated a generation of the Scorseses and the Coppolas came after him, of filmmakers that would then go on to motivate the Tarantinos and everybody else and us and the people that happen afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But it's just fascinating that it's the people that are willing to be these individuals, to tell these independent stories. I mean, look how many stories, again, horror might have people think, but Roger Corman started by doing his own thing and supporting these young filmmakers, Ron Howard, Scorsese, Lucas, and these guys, giving them opportunities to get their craft created. Why? Independent filmmaking.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, always. Like it's always the cutting edge. It's always the cutting edge.
Those are films also we still talk about versus these other Hollywood productions, which I'm on the nominating committee this year. I bring people sometimes with me as my guests to the film. They've been disappointed in most of the films we've been seeing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm almost on asking them to come join me.
Wow.
If you're responsible for it.
This is your film. They're making a lot of the films to win nominations. They know the formula.
Yes.
And I think people now, with the availability of streaming, everything. Look, kids and even adults now are not stupid. We have everything at our fingertip.
Yeah.
We can watch any piece of content we want.
Yeah.
So why would we settle for something that's second rate, especially created by these major studios? No, I don't need to watch that.
Yeah.
I'll go watch whatever I want. I mean, literally, you could find better entertainment scrolling TikTok and finding it right than some of these movies out there.
Oh.
So why are you going to commit 2 hours to doing that? They don't want to anymore. The audiences are educated. They want to be seen. They don't want things that are different. Again, like you said, it's an independent revolution. We can change the world now.
Yeah.
And make cinema something is an event again. Like, again, I'm not a huge horror buff. Love what the Terrifier is doing for our industry. I think what they did was brilliant. Great filmmakers. If you're into that kind of thing, go see it. If you're not into violence, don't see it. But again, the most important thing is the support of people within our realm.
Yes.
That are out there being industry changers. Yes. You got to give it up to all these guys.
Absolutely. No, it's really critical. And, you know, there is so much that we need to remember. We need to remember to not get scared. There's always a way to create.
Yeah.
We can always be creating, and we need to be creating constantly. This is the first year of my life I've been able to make 2 movies of my own, and I might be able to make a third in December.
Awesome.
First time, and it's hard. It's hard. I'm tired. I'm
exhausted. Yeah, you kidding me?
But you know what? It's important. It's really important, and it's part of like, you know, pushing through my own agenda of showing that we can be independent creators and like get our messages out there, get great stories out there. And we don't have to stop, like, no matter what.
But this is great because you mentioned Terrifier several times, but the marketing behind that, we're now, not that you're not going to use marketers or PR people, but you have in the control of your own hand to do your own marketing for your own projects.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's why I called you guys.
Well, again, anything, right? This is the beauty now. I mean, the stories are there. But what I love, Deborah, is you are now in a position where you said, 2 films that you created, right? Most people that are out there in our industry realize you may never even get to one time create your own vision. right?
Yeah.
You did.
No, that's true.
Most people don't. They just work
Wow,
in the
thank you. It
industry.
took a second, but I'm like, wow, you're right.
No,
Oh my God.
That's a massive accomplishment. You did it twice in a year. That's something huge. What's
wrong with me?
It's amazing. I mean, that's such an undertaking. It's such a beautiful thing. Really, it says so much about who you are. That you're willing to always push
Crazy
forward.
bitch.
That's how people change the world.
You're willing to put it on the line. Yeah. You're not afraid. You speak your mind. You get out there. You do your thing. You're not afraid. Again, like you said, this style of films you're making with Breaking Glass, these are great films. They're very, very European. They're unique. But it's not. You're not. People say, "Oh, well, you're out there yourself in these movies. You're putting yourself out there. You are always willing to be the first one in, the last one out." There's a lot, right? You know what I mean? There's a lot about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's amazing because as a creator, you need to have that dedication. Yeah. You literally jump all in, no backing out, and you basically die at sea if the boat sinks. I love that. I love that about you. Like, you are just in it, and I think that's why you and I became such fast friends at the beginning. I mean, now we know this for 10 plus years, but I mean, we always talked about like independent. I remember you came to see my film that I did. Addicted, around the corner. You enjoy. I love your acting. Love you with this, and I was in it. And you, I love that you did it, and I love what you did with Sebastian. And it was around that time, we dedicate 100%.
Yeah, most
people aren't willing to do that.
No,
I think it's great that people just dive headfirst. I admire you so much.
Thank you. Well, I mean, but this is why we did connect. You're right. Yeah. Because like we don't stop. It's I get an idea. I'm like, I until it's actually out, I don't stop. No. I don't stop at all. And it's funny. Even this, like the thing that you guys have set up with this is amazing, and it's really working. And why? I can't believe the amount of growth. Yeah, because you keep doing. You don't stop. You don't stop. You keep expanding it. It's like, okay, well, let's go on the road. Let's do this. Yeah. That's like, you've got to always be thinking, okay, what's next? What's next? Yes. Yeah. I mean, the Taboo, the movie that I'm actually here about, was supposed to drop on the 22nd, but Amazon released it early. And the distributor told me, so I'm like, okay, so I gotta call my guys, like, because I hadn't done any press yet because we weren't ready, and all the other interviews that I have are for next week. Yeah. And so but I want to get on top of, because I don't want the numbers to like go too low, and the algorithm. So I'm in the middle of shooting. Like, I shot on Tuesday. I'm supposed to shoot tomorrow. I'm shooting on Monday. Like, all these pickups, and I'm editing the new film that I'm shooting now. But this one, and I'm like, crap. I gotta like, who can I get in touch with? I'm like, okay, Film Threat, Filmmaker, Chicago Sun-Times, and Gawalis&Chris.